architecture. Azerbaijan offers a highly competitive environment for agricultural investment, backed by strong geographic advantages, robust state support, and an exceptional growth trajectory. Driven by targeted structural reforms and comprehensive subsidy frameworks, our agri-food sector has achieved remarkable real-term growth. Today, Azerbaijan demonstrates a few following strengths. The first, accelerated production. Our agricultural output recently increased by 37.8% in real terms, while our fisheries expanded almost 2.7 times. Market self-sufficiency. We have achieved full self-sufficiency in high-value commodities, including fruits, vegetables, eggs, alongside strong momentum in meat and dairy production. Proven export capability. Azerbaijan is a highly competitive and reliable exporter in global agricultural markets. Notably, Azerbaijan now ranks 4th globally in hazelnut production, 2nd in persimmon exports, and 9th in peach and nectarine exports. Furthermore, the country consistently ranks among the top 20 global exporters for various products, including strawberries, cherries, tomatoes, and cotton fiber. For investors seeking long-term predictability, our vision is institutionalized. Under the directives of Mr. President Ilham Aliyev, the newly approved State Program 2026-2030 establishes a clear, legally backed mandate to develop an intensive, high-tech, and export-oriented agricultural model. To optimize this rollout, we are actively conducting regional consultations across all our economic zones. This ensures that local production models are perfectly aligned with international market demands and investor requirements. By anchoring your capital here, you gain direct access to a structured framework designed to accelerate trade relations across the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and drive regional halal value chains. Modern agricultural profitability relies on efficiency, and the future of Azerbaijan's agricultural agenda is fundamentally digital, transparent, and green. We are actively de-risking investments by building state-of-the-art agro-logistic hubs, strengthening cold chain infrastructure, and minimizing post-harvest losses. Our operational efficiency is anchored by the Electronic Agricultural Information System, which we call locally ECTIS, which has brought absolute transparency to our state support and subsidy mechanisms. We are currently scaling this infrastructure by integrating artificial intelligence and data-driven tools directly into our agricultural processes. For your business, this means guaranteed end-to-end traceability, superior quality control, and seamless compliance with strict international halal standards. Let me close the concrete recommendations for our partners and for ourselves. The first, build a unified halal certification and digital traceability platform. Investors need one credible internationally recognized standard. We will lead on this, and we invite you to build on it. Second, develop integrated green halal agroparks. Co-located production, processing, certification, and cold chain logistics powered by renewables, turnkey investment zones designed for export. Third, establish dedicated halal financing instruments, a blended finance facility combining Islamic finance, development bank capital, and private equity to lower the cost of entry for serious investors. Fourth, anchor halal exports to the middle corridor. Prioritize logistics that connect our producers to Gulf and European markets, making delivery speed a national competitive advantage. Fifth, last but not the least, invest in skills and innovation, training, food science, and certification expertise so that our quality is not a promise, but only a guarantee. Our doors are open. Let us establish Azerbaijan as the premier regional hub for ethical, high quality, and highly profitable halal production. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's now a pleasure to invite His Excellency Ibrahim Hassan Hadejia, Deputy Chief of Staff to the President of Nigeria, Office of the Vice President. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, delegates, speakers, and attendees. It is a great honor to participate in this distinguished ministerial session of the Halal Economy Leadership Forum 2026. I wish to express my appreciation to the Islamic Development Bank Group, the government of Azerbaijan, the Halal Product Development Company of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Halal Development Corporation of Malaysia, and all partners for convening this important platform. The theme of this session, Halal Economy for Sustainable Regional Integration, is timely and highly relevant. Across the world, the halal economy has evolved beyond a niche market into a major driver of trade, investment, industrial development, food security, financial inclusion, and sustainable growth. Today, the global halal economy is valued at over $7 trillion United States dollars and spans food and beverages, livestock, agriculture, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, tourism, logistics, healthcare, manufacturing, and Islamic finance. It represents one of the fastest growing segments of the global economy and offers significant opportunities for economic transformation, particularly for developing countries. For Nigeria, the halal economy is not simply a religious or cultural proposition, it is an economic opportunity. As Africa's largest economy by GDP and one of the continent's most populous nations with over 230 million people, Nigeria possesses the key fundamentals required to become a leading halal economy hub in Africa. We have vast agricultural resources, one of the largest livestock populations on the continent, a growing Islamic finance ecosystem, strategic access to regional and international markets, and a vibrant entrepreneurial population eager to participate in global value chains. Under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, Nigeria is implementing bold economic reforms aimed at diversifying the economy, expanding non-oil exports, attracting investment, strengthening food security, and creating jobs. The halal economy aligns strongly with these national priorities and with the broader objectives of the Renewed Hope Agenda. Recognizing the strategic importance of this sector, Nigeria recently launched the Nigeria National Halal Economy Strategy, a comprehensive framework designed to unlock opportunities across agriculture, livestock, food processing, manufacturing, logistics, tourism, and finance. To drive implementation, the government established the Nigeria National Halal Economy Strategy Implementation Committee, chaired by His Excellency Vice President Kashim Shettima, GCON. The committee brings together key ministries, government agencies, development partners, financial institutions, private sector industry leaders, and technical experts to coordinate implementation across the entire halal ecosystem. A particularly important development is the creation of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development by President Tinubu. This landmark initiative reflects Nigeria's commitment to unlocking the enormous economic potential of the livestock sector. With one of Africa's largest cattle, sheep, goat, and poultry populations, Nigeria sees livestock as a strategic pillar for halal meat production, value addition, export expansion, and rural economic development. Nigeria is equally committed to partnership and international cooperation. We recognize that no country can fully unlock the potential of the halal economy in isolation. For this reason, we are deepening collaboration with strategic institutions, including the Islamic Development Bank Group, the Halal Product Development Company of Saudi Arabia, the Halal Development Corporation of Malaysia, Badia, and other international partners. As we discuss sustainable regional integration, I believe three priorities deserve collective attention. First, we must strengthen mutual recognition frameworks and standards harmonization to facilitate cross-border halal trade. Second, we must mobilize greater investment into halal infrastructure, logistics, industrial parks, certification ecosystems, and MSME development. Third, we must leverage innovation, digital technology, and traceability systems to improve transparency, competitiveness, and consumer confidence across halal value chains. Nigeria stands ready to work with fellow member countries, development finance institutions, private investors, and industry leaders to build such an ecosystem. On behalf of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I confirm our commitment to this collective vision and invite partners from around the world to collaborate with us as we build a globally competitive halal economy that benefits our people and contributes to sustainable development. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's now our pleasure to invite His Excellency Mr. Anar Karimov, First Deputy Minister of Finance of the Republic of Azerbaijan.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, sisters, brothers, friends, colleagues. Today I will be speaking under two hats. On the one hat, I used to be IDV staff member, so today I'm particularly happy and glad to see that today AZHAB Forum is becoming a tradition to bring policymakers, business people, experts, financial institutions to talk about important topics, especially how we can come together for regional integration purposes. I convey my special thanks to attending excellencies, to KOBIA, to Minister of Economy, and Islamic Development Bank for excellent organization of this important forum. I believe that such forums is very important because now we are not talking only about halal products, halal markets, halal institutions. Actually, we are already talking about global ecosystem. Global ecosystems that embraces many regions, many markets, and already we're overcoming borders. So it has become a powerful instrument for regional integration. Same time, it's built on values: trust, transparency, responsibility, ethical conduct. Actually, events that are happening now in the region and globally, we're witnessing that there are results that these values that we always try to emphasize under the great pressure, sometimes neglected, sometimes out of attention. Therefore, despite being a good instrument, but without proper contact and attention, I believe that regional integration purposes still will not be able to achieve. In Azerbaijan, under my other hat, as a representative Minister of Finance of Azerbaijan, and today I will be trying to, anyway, talking about integration, I will try to integrate these two hats. We pay a lot of attention within the halal economy and regional integration to stability and to the trust. So far, we managed to establish a good foreign exchange reserves, which are already exceeding $88 billion, which provide us a good foundation for stability. At the same time, we see that there are developing financial, Islamic finance products in Azerbaijan. Islamic finance is not simply an alternative financial model for us. It's a model based on partnership, risk sharing, and investment. So for development of Islamic finance is not merely the creation of new market segment. For us, it's a part of broader efforts on diversification, on financial inclusion, and support of private sector. Today, Takaful services already available in Azerbaijan. Financial institutions have begun offering Islamic banking products. Murabaha, Mudaraba is not only fancy Islamic financial instruments, but already some banks are applying them. I'm hearing from my friends from private sector about new financial Islamic finance projects, and I believe they will be announcing some in very near future. Azerbaijan's same time strategic location as a crossroads of East and West, North and South transport provides opportunities to become a regional hub. A regional hub to contribute not only for national development, but also regional halal integration. These efforts are important because they facilitate trade, investment, technology, different industries, including agriculture. Extreme Excellency also touched upon his speech and provided concrete recommendations. In this journey, cooperation with IDB always remains of special importance. For more than 3 decades, IDB has been a trusted partner for us, especially contributing to economic development, particularly reconstruction of liberated territories. The future of halal economy is not only dependent on the growth of individual markets, but on our ability to build connections. Connections between countries, businesses, investors, and opportunities. And connection between ethical principles and economic growth. If we succeed, the halal economy can become a powerful driver of regional integration, shared prosperity, and sustainable development. Azerbaijan and Ministry of Finance stands ready to work with all partners in advancing this vision. Together, we can build stronger markets, stronger partnerships. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. With great pleasure, we'd like to invite Dr. Khalid Khalafallah, Chief Executive Officer, ISEC Islamic Corporation for the Insurance of Investment and Export Credit, representing the ISDB Group. Please welcome you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to join you today at the Halal Economy Leadership Forum 2026, convened as part of ISDB Group annual meetings and in partnership with Azerbaijan Halal Business Forum, the Halal Development Corporation of Malaysia, and the Halal Product Development Company of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Kobia of Azerbaijan, and other distinguished partners. Allow me, on behalf of ISDB Group, to express our sincere appreciation to the government of the Republic of Azerbaijan for hosting this important gathering and for its strong commitment to regional cooperation, private sector development, and advancing the halal economy agenda. Excellencies, the halal economy has become one of the most dynamic segments of the global economy. Today, it extends far beyond food and consumer products to encompass manufacturing, logistics, even tourism, pharmaceutical, digital solution, and sustainable industrial development. When the global halal consumer spending expected to exceed almost 3 trillion in the coming years, the halal economy presents a significant opportunity for investment, job creation, industrialization, trade expansion across our member countries. Yet, realizing this potential requires stronger regional integration, better connectivity across the value chain, greater private sector participation, and enhanced flows of trade and investment, as stressed in the previous speaker's note. This is why this theme of the forum, Halal Economy for Sustainable Regional Integration, is both timely and important. The ISDB Group views Halal Economy as a strategic platform for diversification, private sector development, food security, and sustainable growth, and has been historically supportive of this initiative. Through partnership, knowledge sharing initiatives, the group continues to support member countries in strengthening their halal ecosystems. Among these efforts, initiatives are the initiative led through the ISDB Kuala Lumpur Center of Excellence, including the Halal Industrial Park 2.0 framework, the Greening Halal Businesses Initiative, the Knowledge Exchange programs, implemented through the reverse linkage mechanism of ISDB, where we try to connect those countries with advanced experience with those who need to have similar experience. The group is also supporting capacity building efforts for the implementation of Nigeria's Halal Economy system in collaboration with the Halal Development Company and CIMIC and other partners. These initiatives demonstrate our commitment as ISDB Group in supporting practical solutions that strengthen competitiveness, sustainability, regional cooperation within the halal ecosystem. However, building a thriving halal economy requires more than policies and strategies. It requires investment, certainly, and most importantly, trade and also financing, and risk mitigation mechanisms that enable business to grow and expand across borders. In this regard, the institutions and affiliates of ISDB Group play a complementary and mutually reinforcing roles. For example, ISEC, the insurance arm, contribute to providing risk mitigation solutions and credit enhancements that help de-risk investment, facilitate cross-border trade, and investment insurance that will attract FDI to this ecosystem. The Islamic Cooperation for the Development of Private Sector, the financing arm of ISDB Group, support halal SMEs, entrepreneurship, industrial development through Islamic finance solution, advisory services, and private sector investments. These efforts contribute to expanding productive capacity and strengthening halal value chain across member countries. The International Islamic Trade Finance Cooperation, ITFC, facilitate the trade flows, strengthen economic connectivity through trade finance and trade facilitation programs that support regional supply chain. These interventions are helping businesses access new markets, participate more efficiently and effectively in intra-OIC trade. Together, these institutions and these programs help transform halal economy ambitions into practical investment, trade, and development outcomes. Excellencies, this forum is not merely a platform for dialogue. It's a platform for action. And we hope that today's discussion will generate concrete outcomes, including investment partnership, stronger business linkages, technical cooperation initiatives, knowledge-sharing arrangement, and practical solutions that can be replicated across other member countries. We also hope that the forum will contribute to strengthening regional halal value chain, expanding opportunities for halal SMEs, improving market access, and support greater alignment among stakeholders across the ecosystem. Let's use this forum to move beyond discussion and towards implementation. Let's build a stronger partnership, mobilize greater investment, expand trade opportunities, and create more integrated halal economy that delivers tangible benefits to our member countries and for the future generation across our member countries and globally, inshallah. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your Excellency, thank you. May we kindly request our distinguished speakers to remain on stage briefly for an official photograph, subject to the guidance of the protocol team. Please welcome. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us thanking our distinguished speakers for their valuable contributions. We request our distinguished speakers to stay in the hall to witness the launch of the Global Islamic Economist Program. Thank you. We kindly ask Mr. Orhan Mamadov to join us. Please welcome. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, we now come to a special highlight of today's event. It's our absolute privilege to announce the official launch of the Global Islamic Economist Program. This flagship initiative is visionary in its scope, championed by the Islamic Development Bank and INSEF University in strategic collaboration with Bank Negara Malaysia. Together, these institutions are paving the way for a new era of leadership in global Islamic economics. To kick off this momentous occasion, it's now our distinct honor to invite Dr. Issa Faye, Director General of Global Practices and Partnership at the Islamic Development Bank, to deliver his opening remarks. Dr. Issa, the floor is yours. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Excellencies, valued partners and friends, dear colleagues, it's my pleasure to be here this afternoon with you for this launching event. Islamic financial services today reach more than 50 countries across the globe. According to the recently released IFSB Stability Report 2026, the global Islamic economy will be over 10 trillion US dollars by 2030. It's backed by a burgeoning Muslim population and organically growing market demand in segments such as Muslim-friendly tourism, food and beverages, entertainment, and family recreation. The ambition is for the global Islamic economy to drive growth in AFDB member countries by pursuing an integrated Islamic finance and halal sector strategy. Closing the gap between the magnitude of our ambitions and the capabilities required to realize them is precisely what brought us to this launch today. The field of Islamic economics faces two challenges that have persisted for too long. First, there is a shortage of Islamic finance and economics specialists capable of designing innovative Sharia-compliant economic solutions in high demand in our member countries. Second, Challenge relates to the difficulties of translating theoretical knowledge in practical policy measures and reforms to support government's interventions. These challenges slow down decisions, dilute the quality of policy, and most importantly, they undermine the potential of Islamic finance and economics to deliver impactful solutions to our member countries. So what have we done so far? To respond to these challenges, the ISDB, through its Center of Excellence in Kuala Lumpur, has worked alongside INSEF University and Bank Negara Malaysia to establish the Global Islamic Economies Program. Through this partnership, we will offer strategic mentorship and applied research in the field of Islamic economics, specifically tailored to mid-career professionals serving in Ministry of Finance, central banks, and capital markets. Our target for the pilot cohort is to accommodate 20 participants from across ISDB member countries and the Asian region. Over 4 to 6 months, these professionals will not study theory in isolation. They will engage in rigorous applied research, receive continuous mentorship from leading global experts, and return to their home institutions, ready to leverage Islamic principles and values to design real-world economic policy intervention that will help advance their country's development pathways. Before I conclude, let me be clear. For this program to be fully successful and Islamic economic thinking to thrive, it is not enough to train only a small number of Islamic economists. We must also build Islamic economics into a reputable profession supported by enabling environments that respond to the labor market needs. This will require strong partnerships like the one that has made this initiative possible. And I would like to take advantage of this fitting moment to express our sincere appreciation to our partners from INSEF and Bank Negara Malaysia, as well as the Center of Excellence of Malaysia for this very promising initiative. I therefore declare the Global Islamic Economies Program officially launched. Thank you very much.
Dr. Issa, thank you for your speech. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now collectively view the Global Islamic Economies Program launch video.
Today, the global economy stands at a critical crossroads, facing unprecedented social and economic challenges. While over 50 countries offer Islamic finance services, a vital gap remains: the need to bridge deep theoretical knowledge with real-world, innovative policy solutions. To shape the future of global development, 3 institutions have come together with a shared vision. Recognizing this gap, the Islamic Development Bank and INSEF University have joined forces to redefine how Islamic economists are developed, with strategic curation undertaken in collaboration with Bank Negara Malaysia. Introducing the Global Islamic Economist Program, a selective institution-nominated initiative developing policy-ready economists through advanced learning, mentorship, and real-world experience. We invite mid-career professionals across ministries of finance, central banks, and economic planning agencies across ISDB member countries to join this journey. For its exclusive 2026 pilot, GIEP will select 20 candidates from the ASEAN region, with plans to progressively extend participation across OIC member countries in the years ahead, bringing together exceptional professionals committed to advancing economic transformation through Islamic economics. Through executive immersion, applied research, and global mentorship, participants are equipped to design solutions for real economic challenges within their own jurisdictions, bridging principles with policy, delivered through a flexible hybrid format over 4 to 6 months. Participants can continue their professional responsibilities while engaging in advanced learning and international collaboration. They will participate in a 2-week executive education experience, gain access to a global network of expert mentors, and develop a policy paper addressing pressing socioeconomic challenges in their respective country. Be part of the next generation of Islamic economists. Apply today for the Global Islamic Economist Program.
Ladies and gentlemen, now to officially commemorate this landmark launch, we would like to invite our key esteemed leaders to join us on stage for the commemorative document exchange celebrating this official launch. May we please invite His Excellency Adnan Zailani Muhammad Zahid, Deputy Governor of Bank Negara Malaysia and Acting ISDB Governor for Malaysia in the ISDB Annual Meetings 2026. Please welcome. His Excellency Dr. Khalid Khalafallah, CEO of the Islamic Corporation for the Insurance of Investment and Export Credit ISEC ISDB Group. His Excellency Dato Azmi Omar, President and CEO of Infers University. His Excellency Issa Faye, Director General of Global Practices and Partnership of the Islamic Development Bank. Dr. Iskandar Shah, CEO of ISRA Associates. And Mr. Samir El-Sabi, Head of ISDB Center of Excellence in Kuala Lumpur. Zəhmət olmasa sənədləri təqdim edin. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause as our dignitaries exchange the commemorative documents. Your Excellencies, thank you. Dear participants, please join us in congratulating our partners on the successful launch of the Global Islamic Economist Program. Ladies and gentlemen, our final technical session focuses on one of the most strategic enablers of halal ecosystem development, halal industrial zones and integrated halal clusters. The session is about halal industrial zones, advanced halal ecosystem development. As countries seek to strengthen manufacturing capabilities, attract investment, enhance logistic infrastructure, and build resilient halal value chains, industrial ecosystem development has become increasingly important. To moderate this session, it's our pleasure to invite Dr. Marco Timon, Chief Executive Officer, LBB International. Please welcome. Joining him on stage, please welcome Engineer Mamdouh Aldriz, Executive Vice President, Saudi Authority for Industrial Cities and Technology Zones. Mr. Diko Ladan, Dar al-Halal, Nigeria. Please welcome. Mr. Mohtis Mahdi Ishaq, Group Chief Executive Officer, Tabung Haji Properties and Stek Halal Park, Malaysia. Dr. Marco, the session is yours.
Please take a seat. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone. Excellencies, distinguished delegates and colleagues, welcome to session 4 of the AZHAB Private Sector Forum, Halal Industrial Zones, Advanced Halal Ecosystem Development. A special thanks to the AZHAB Center of Excellence, the Halal Products Development Company of Saudi Arabia, and the Halal Development Corporation from Malaysia for inviting me on this panel. In fact, for AZHAB, Halal Industrial Zones is an important topic. Under the leadership of Mr. Samar El-Asawi, the head of AZHAB Center of Excellence, we started 2 years ago an important program called Halal Industrial Park 2.0. The Halal Industrial Park 2.0 is founded on clustering of halal industries, also focus on the halal supply chain, technology, sustainability, and also Islamic finance and Waqaf. The Halal Industrial Zones panel discussion aims to shift the OIC from a consumer-driven halal market to a production powerhouse. By bringing together diverse regions, namely Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and West Africa, this session outlines how dedicated industrial clusters can act as the primary engine for economic growth, building production capacity of halal food, cosmetics, and pharmaceuticals, including ingredients, and increase the role of the AZHAB member countries in the halal value chain. When we evaluate the global halal economy today, we are no longer just looking at compliance localized at a single factory gate. The conversation has decisively transitioned toward total supply chain integration, ecosystem resilience, and strategic corridor integration. Advanced halal industrial zones sit at the absolute intersection of this structural evolution. They are the primary economic engine driving shifting value chains, bringing together physical infrastructure, specialized logistics, and structured Islamic financial instrument into a single, cohesive ecosystem. Today, we are privileged to bring together an extraordinary lineup of visionaries and executives who are actively building, financing, and governing these critical clusters across major overseas trade corridors. Let us welcome our distinguished panel. First of all, we have here on my left side, Engineer Mamdo Aldres. He's the Vice President Operation of Saudi Authority for Industrial Cities and Technology Zones, MODAN, from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He's a seasoned executive and engineering leader with more than 25 years of experience in engineering operations, organizational transformation, and strategic project management. He currently serves as the Vice President of Industrial Cities Operation at the Saudi Authority of Industrial Cities and Technology Zones, MODAN, where he leads the operations of 42 industrial cities and oversees more than 9,500 industrial and investment facilities spanning over 280 million square meters of development industrial land. Massive. Second, we have Dr. Dikko Laden, CEO Dar Halal Group from Nigeria. Dr. Dikko is an economist with over 45 years of industrial experience and an outstanding track record in business leadership across the range of business and technology, operating at board and senior executive level. His strengths are creating strong business relationships, stakeholder and strategic management, commercial and supplier management, change management with the relentless focus on delivery. He's the CEO of Zurich Energy Limited UK, Broadlink Petroleum Limited Nigeria, and CEO of Dar Al Halal Group Nigeria. Third, Mr. Mohd Ismadi bin Ishaq, the Group CEO of TH Properties from Malaysia. Mr. Ismadi Ishaq was appointed as the Group Chief Executive Officer of TH Properties on the 1st of September 2024. Previously, Mr. Mohd Ismadi served as the Chief Financial Officer of TRX City since 2019, leading up to his appointment at TRX City. He was attached to Proclas Sdien Burghardt for a duration of 6 years as the financial advisor to the Ministry of Finance. So we have an esteemed panel here today. It's a great honor for me to moderate this session. Starting with the first question, I would like to dive deeper, I think, with all the panelists in the areas, how did you establish those ecosystem and set up? Engineer Mando, maybe first for you to take off, how do you view industrial cities as enabler for local and foreign investment in the halal product sector? In particular, what future opportunities exist to support startups and SMEs entering this field? Please, Engineer.
Thank you, Dr. Marco, for this introduction and my delight to be here. Actually, Mudun, we oversees 42 industrial cities across the kingdom with more than 9,000 industrial and logistics and services facilities with increase investment around $130 billion in the industrial cities. So industrial cities enable halal sector growth through integrate supply chain, advanced logistics and global connectivity with the world. With Saudi Arabia's strategic geography for export and re-export, Mudun provide investors with the base to access the regional and at the international markets, and has emerged as a key driver of industrial expansion. With the number of for investors, its food and beverage sector increasing by more than 170% over the past years, to reach over 1,800 investors with local and international investors, with located land covered more than 15.5 million square meters. Over the past 5 years, food and beverage allocations have grown by more than 250% with over 10.5 million square meter allocated area and more than 1,360 attracted investors. If we go to the pharmaceutical, allocations have increased also by around 100% over the past 5 years. Mudun has located over than 1.2 million square meter area with the number of investors exceeding 130.
Well, it's impressive. So the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia managed, I think, to make a massive transition from, I think, one of the largest halal markets into one of the largest halal production hub. Congratulations, Mamdou. Dr. Dicko, we know each other already for many years. Also great pleasure to meet you again, also here at the ISDB Group annual meeting. Nigeria represents one of the most dynamic and I think also massive consumption markets for halal goods in Africa. As you spearhead the institutional framework for Dar al-Halal, what are the primary structural and also regulatory challenges that you face when designing an industrial zone from the ground up, which you have been doing? And how can you position it to capture regional trade under the AFC FTA? Please, Dr. Dicker.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Darul Halal Group has been focused on the development of the Nigerian halal ecosystem for the past 6 to 7 years. And I'm pleased to announce, and as we've seen, the strong support that has come across from the Nigerian presidency, whereby the entire stakeholders in the country and the region are being brought together for economic expansion with a focus on the halal ecosystem development. The major challenge, I look at it more, not so much as a challenge, but we define it as opportunities for investment for Nigerian companies and for partnership and also inward investment into Nigeria. Nigeria borders about 5 to 6 countries across, and when you look at the halal industrial parks, they exist in informal structure. And what we have now is a concerted effort by the government of Nigeria to build halal zones and halal industrial parks. So many things have already been mentioned in terms of logistics, storage. We have a lot of perishable goods and services, and how to support local farmers not to lose their produce on a daily basis, as an example. So storage, cold storage, distribution hubs at airports and seaports are among the strategies of the government, but we are now focusing on the business case of halal industrial parks. And the way we look at it is, Nigeria, the political economic structure is such that we have the federal government and we have 36 states and the federal capital. They all have budgets, and below that we have about 774 local governments, and each of them have markets. So the strategy is converting and utilizing what we have in existence and making them halal compliant ready, whereby we have the local market access. Nigeria has about 200, 250 million, and then when we look at West Africa, we are talking of 500 million people. So that in itself is a market, and we have a young population. The destination is to come to Africa. So the government strategy, which the Dar al Halal Group is focusing on the private sector, is ensuring that the structures we have, the institutions, the MDAs, are ready for halal business. The main challenge I would identify, which also is an opportunity, is technical expertise and technical support along with technology. The other one is farming practices and industrial practices and how to support the SMEs. Now, in doing so, we are not waiting to say, for example, we have to start and be ready. What we have, the business that are ongoing are being supported and structured. So, for example, we take the states in Nigeria as zones, and within this zone, you can have quite a number of clusters. There is a lot of initiatives whereby the local people, the grassroots people who are not really bankable are supported with, for example, goats, sheep to bring to the market. So through the Ministry of Livestock, there is an initiative on building abattoirs along with cold storage. So this is being addressed, but it is quite a long process whereby there is a lot of structuring and restructuring, but the whole essence is bankability. State governments, individuals, entrepreneurs, and the businesses. And we have modeled a situation whereby using a 1,500 hectare facility, you bring goat, sheep, cattle, farmers, poultry, and then we have 2 centers, for example, developing the feed mill. So all agricultural activity focuses on the feed mill. So whether you are doing grains, improvement, improving the yield, improving farming methods, mechanization. Now this mechanization, the drive is large-scale commercial activity. And the whole idea is to change the mindset to access international markets. For example, Saudi Arabia is interested in buying meat from Nigeria. In terms of the regional element, there is a railway, for example, from Nigeria all the way through to Niger, opening up markets. So Nigeria is really spearheading, but what we are focusing is bankability and capacity building. And we've had quite a number of support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dicko. So Nigeria is leveraging its people, is leveraging also the agriculture, the strong agriculture of Africa, in order to become an important player in the halal industry. Thank you, Dr. Dicko. Mr. Ismadi from TH Properties. Banda Enstek in Malaysia is mature, also world-class reference points for dedicated halal parks. From your experience, what are the critical success factors required to progress a zone from a simple real estate development into an interactive, advanced halal ecosystem that also attracts major multinational corporations like you have done in Malaysia?
Thank you, Dr. Marco. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I'm honored to be here to share my experience, to share our experience about developing Halal Industrial Park in Banda Enstek. To give you a perspective, basically, TH Properties is 100% or wholly owned by Lembaga Tabung Haji, which is the biggest Islamic financial institutions whose manage national pilgrims funds. Banda Enstek is actually covering about 5,200 acres, and they have 3 components: residentials, commercials, and industrial. We start our journey 25 years ago into 3 phases of Halal Industrial Park. And the first phase and second phase, we have completed successfully, and we managed to bring multinational corporations to Banda Enstek. What are key ingredients for the 2 phases that we have completed is actually we are leveraging on halal. Through cooperation from Halal Development Corporations, have recognized Banda Enstek as Halmas Industrial Park, which is underpinned on top of incentive, but mainly the infrastructure that we are invested in Banda Enstek. To us, seeing is believing. The first critical success factor is infrastructure. You need to have defined infrastructures. That's how we manage to successfully complete it and commercialize the 2 phases of our Halal Industrial Park. However, based on the 2 successful stories that we are managing to go through, for the 3rd phase that we are working it right now, we are thinking about how to create differentiations to the previous 2 Halal Industrial Park that we are successfully built on. To us, I think where we are coming, we need to have an ecosystem in Bandar and Stack. In order to do that, we have doing a massive transformations, be it from the master planning itself in Bandar and Stack, and also we are looking in 2023 and forecasted to be 3.4 trillion in 2028. We believe that this market is massive. But to cater all that, I think is going to be impossible. So we need to focus on building what is the right ecosystem for our third phase of Halal Industrial Park. So in last year, we decided to give a differentiations to our third phase of Halal Industrial Park, and we successfully launched Life Science Park that focusing on pharmaceutical and medical devices, cosmetic, which we believe that this is a future for the industry. Based on that, we start identifying what is the right ecosystem to be placed in Bandar and Stack. It's not only what we are talking, but we are changing our master planning from last 25 years ago. Bandar and Stack is anchoring, the catalytic is institutions. But we have made a bold steps whereby we change our master planning to anchor against Halal Industrial Park, so that we want to make sure that we believe in Halal Industrial Park. So being on that, so we have established, we work together with HDC, JAKIM to establish, and also USIM, University Science Islam Malaysia, to supply a right talent. Previously, if you're aware, we have safety officer, but in Bandar and Stack, through our collaboration with USIM, we provide halal officer to be stationed in each of our tenants, such as Coca-Cola, Dutch Ladies, Kela Nova, and that's what actually reside in Bandar and Stack. And moving forward, we want to focus on Life Science Park, and we want to build an ecosystem that's supporting a life science park. And to us, I think we are working on it. We have various collaborations with government agency, such as MPRA, which is National Pharmaceutical Agency. We're going to establish Halal One-Stop Center. We are working together with Halal Development Corporation, JAKIM, to make sure that customer experience or tenant experience in Bandar and Stack is actually worthwhile. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ismadi. So Malaysia, they're one of the first, I think, on halal park developments, and what we know that Bandar and Stack is providing superior infrastructure and a very focused halal ecosystem development also for the coming phases. Very interesting. I would like to go back to Saudi Arabia, to Engineer Mamdo. In 2024, 2025, MODON launched specialized industrial clusters, including the food cluster in Jeddah and the dairy cluster. How can these evolve into global platforms attracting high-value halal investment?
Sure. Yes, MODON established and planning to create more and more of food and pharma cluster, as what we said regarding for this food cluster in Jeddah is the one of the biggest food cluster in the area, and to enable halal production activities, serving the local market and supporting manufacture to export Saudi halal, to be leader and product globally, to position Saudi as a major halal production hub. MODON specialized clusters such as this one, Jeddah and Pharma. Now we create one cluster for Pharma in Dammam and one more dairy in another area. We're trying to distribute this kind of this food cluster to make sure we reach all of the market and make it easier for the investors to invest and to export and to localize our production. So food cluster in Jeddah, I think it's one of the biggest if we're talking about halal in the world. Saudi has built of the largest and more attractive, around $5.3 billion in the investment and hosting more than 380 investors in this Jeddah food cluster halal.
Thank you. So you're developing extensive clusters, food, pharmaceuticals, focused and attracting the big players so that Saudi Arabia can become not only a big producer for the kingdom itself, but also to bring halal Saudi Arabia to the world.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Thank you. Dr. Dicko, building trust is essential for nascent zone. How is Nigeria planning to anchor its upcoming industrial cluster and supply chain, ensuring that raw materials processing matches international import requirements? What infrastructure in particular and governance structure is required for an effective halal ecosystem development in Nigeria?
Yes, thank you. The Halal Implementation Committee of Nigeria has a robust program of trust, and that centers really on market access for the producers. And to develop a supply chain, you must have an end market. So while the markets are targeted, are being opened, so first of all, local, West Africa, Africa, but we have this focus on GCC countries and other global destinations. With that in mind, it's very easy to educate and the suppliers and the producers and build your supply chain. So in terms of trust, how do you really gain the trust? You give a businessman or a farmer or a manufacturer or a health worker a target, something to look forward to, and show it and develop the business case. Then it's a lot easier to work backwards for people to start building the mechanism of trust. And in that respect, halal and the messaging of halal is more about trade, investment, export expansion, and inward investment for Nigeria and Nigerian companies and companies based in Nigeria. With that in mind, the governance structure is being enhanced, whereby a Nigerian standard is being developed through the Standard Organization of Nigeria, and we hope eventually we will have a halal development company for Nigeria evolve in the process. We also have NINAS, which is an accreditation agency. Whereas they do the conventional certification, there is the drive towards halal. Then halal certification in itself is the main driver, whereby what we are doing is actually educating and supporting the people and the producers to create both the chains and be open to the change. Halal is automatically assumed, but how do you make it commercially viable to people? And that is where we're pushing, having international engagement and support from CIMIC, from JAKIM, and from Saudi Arabia. And we're also getting support from countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, and Kuwait, so that we can build a robust trust system. And capacity building is the element. Most people are happy to produce, but if you give them market access and support them through the process of exporting, then the goods are not rejected. And we're also working to have our own Nigerian mark that will comply with international standard. Finally, in Nigeria, like most other countries, we have Food and Drug Administration. We have quarantine services and other agencies. So as part of the certification, halal certification, we encourage and support people and entrepreneurs to first of all comply with that, and then we take them through the technical and then the halal compliance process. And in that process, we engage a lot of universities and professors and other institutions and religious bodies to make it easier. Certification is very expensive, and our objective is to take it to the people and make it affordable. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dicker. So what you're saying, you're building strong success stories in Nigeria, and you also at the same time bring best practices on board, in particular from halal standards. Excellent. Mr. Ismadi, I mean, is there an Islamic way to fund an industrial ecosystem from its infrastructure and shared facilities down to its startups and tenants? What would a fully Sharia-aligned capital model for a halal park look like in practice?
Thank you, Dr. Marco. I think when we talk about ecosystem, from business perspective, it has different risk appetite, it has different bankability. For example, if you look at R&D, I think you need certain cheap capital to finance that. If you do infrastructure, there will be several, I would say, common facilities that need to be shared with a long gestation period. And obviously, I think at the end of the day, the tenant itself, we're talking about project financing. So all these three of ecosystem that I mentioned just now, I think have a different risk appetite, has a different bankability. So I would like to answer your question, Dr. Marco, into 5 pillars, if I can say that. The first pillar is actually suku. Suku, I think in Malaysia is quite matured. I think I can give you some perspective towards that. I think we have about 1.3 trillion that's still standing in the market. So suku, from my opinion, is rightly fit to finance the infrastructure. So that is actually the first pillar that I'm talking about. The second, to finance the common facilities, the common costs, we have Wakaf in Malaysia. Wakaf itself, I think if I can give the example, Bank Islam is a subsidiary of Lembaga Tabung Haji, which is our sister company or affiliate company. It's actually been, the building itself is actually based from Wakaf. So, in my view, to finance the common facilities, the common costs, to support the ecosystem, Wakaf can be a right financial instrument to support that. That is the second pillar. The third pillar, when you talk about, like I mentioned just now, ecosystem is not about the matured companies, it's not about the matured business, it's all about incubations, it's about R&D, it's about you need to invest, you need to really try and error to make sure that we have the complete ecosystem in Bandar and Stack. And I believe that in Malaysia, we have quite matured venture capital. We have seed funding, Islamic seed funding, that what I call as a third pillar, soft capital, which is they're not financing with a certain interest rate, but it's more towards success basis, per se. And obviously, when you mature, the business is maturing, so we have green financing. Green financing is important because I think moving forward, I think green financing, green infrastructures is important to entice all the big MNC to come over to any halal industrial park. And I think green financing is available in Malaysia. And finally, the fifth pillar, I'm talking about private Islamic fund. So this can be the bank itself, the banking financial institution itself, to fund the project financing with more bankability, if I can say that, more bankability for that. So with all that 5 pillars, with the financial instruments that we have and well established in Malaysia, we believe that I think it can finance a various ecosystem to support the halal industrial park, inshallah.
Thank you, Mrs. Mahdi, for sharing your insights. I think you're using several Islamic financial instruments, such as sukuk, wakaf, and also ecosystem, green financing, and private Islamic funds. So you use multiple instruments to make that possible. I would like to go back to Engineer Mamdo. How can the halal product sector contribute to the goals of the National Industrial Strategy?
Okay, this part maybe a lot of things will be interesting for you. It's empowering halal sector. It's one of the target of NIS, National Industrial Strategy in Saudi Arabia. That's why Saudi Arabia built a lot and programs and incentives. And by the way, I invite everyone here to visit MIM, Ministry of Industry and Mineral Resources. This is Saudi ministry to reach out and to see all the incentives and the programs which help halal sector to invest in Saudi Arabia. Just for example, one of them, it's around 32 between programs and incentives. It's for all the investors from Saudi Arabia or from the out. For example, 50 million standard incentives. It's giveaway, non-refundable. It will be up to 50 million Saudi riyals, which is 35% of total investment. Also, we trying in Saudi to transfer around 4,000 factories, to call it future factories. We help them to transfer to 4.0 or to digitalize the process inside the factories. A lot of incentives and program, for example, consulting for programs, for consulting, 7 programs for financing, for local contents, and also for infrastructure and ready build, to make it easier to start up with build-to-suit product, ready factory, just to plug in and to start. A lot of products we trying to make it ready for any to start up with halal sector.
So what you're saying is that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has a wide selection of incentives available for companies, smaller, medium, and large companies, to invest, to produce from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So I think that's great news. Thank you. Dr. Dikko, what will be the role of Islamic finance for development in the halal industrial ecosystem in Nigeria?
Well, Islamic finance, by its nature, is user-friendly. An example, during the COVID, those who went with conventional banking had interest upon interest and all sorts of penalties. Nigeria, being secular, Islamic finance is called non-interest windows. And going by the number of banks that have emerged and fintechs and Islamic finance funds and capitals companies, from when Jaiz Bank first launched the first Islamic bank in Nigeria, Nigeria has gone on to do a large Sukuk program that is always oversubscribed to the extent down the market, Sukuk is being raised for $100,000, 200, $500,000. So based on that, it on its own is an enabler, and in addition, it boosts and encourages the expansion of commercial and economic activity across the country. We don't have banks right across Nigeria, especially in the rural areas. And you find that POS forms is the common man's bank and is leveraged. They use the platforms of the mobile telephones and the electronic banking system of the banks. Now, with the majority Muslim population, many people shy away from taking interest. But with the advent of Islamic finance, is going to enable a catalytic growth in multiples when it is fully deployed. And it is a lot easier for the people to understand. So from MSEs and the big companies, you find that there is a substantial move towards Islamic finance and fintech. The central bank has got so many solutions, and some of the leading institutions of Nigeria, like Bank of Industry, Nigeria Export-Import Bank, are all having Islamic finance windows because of the rise and of demand for that product, but also as an enabler. Thank you.
Yeah, interesting, Dr. Dikko. I mean, you mentioned fintech, Islamic fintech, and I think if you compare also to other ecosystems like Silicon Valley in the US, Silicon Valley was only possible because of fintech. Yeah, so Islamic fintech can also be an important instrument in boosting your halal ecosystem. Mrs. Mani, I think the last question to you before we go to another round. What you mentioned to me is that the importance of AI and IT as an operator already digitalizing its own park. How can software, data, and also AI hardwire that integrity, first within a single park, and ultimately between halal parks across the OIC?
Thank you, Dr. Marco. I think before I answer that question, I think we, as TH Properties, we have our subsidiaries under that doing facilities management, that maintaining the asset, looking at the asset management to make sure that obsolescence doesn't occur. Because in real estate development, what will worry us most is actually not to develop. It's actually once you complete your development, to maintain it. Otherwise, it will be obsolescence. So we have our system, cloud system, or we call it Iman, that manage our asset throughout the countries, that have about 12 million of square feet that we manage in different locations. So we have Imans that actually handled it for us. And from that, I call it that horizon number one, is actually to support the infrastructure of the ecosystem. The second horizon, which is currently we are working on, is actually to connect the infrastructures together with the supporting facilities to support the ecosystem. So we are leveraging on Imans right now to actually support our town planning, our town management system in Bandar and Stack, and we are going to launch, we call it Managed Industrial Park, which is gated and also as part of our Halal Industrial Park product, we call it MIP, which is Managed Industrial Park. And that we are working and leveraging on Imans to manage the entire MIP for that, to leveraging on that. And what we are aspired to be, to answer your question, Dr. Marco, is a third horizon. So this is where basically what we're looking at, global halal network. So if we can connect with perhaps with Saudi Arabia, halal development, halal industrial park, Nigeria industrial park, NSTEC, which is industrial park, we can basically support each other in basically we can get our ingredients from Saudi Arabia, industrial park, Nigeria, to support our manufacturing for life science park, for example. And with that, my view is basically we need to focus on the software. The software is very important because hardware without a software is just nothing. So to us, the third horizon, which is to connect between the Halal Industrial Park between, I think, countries members is very important to ensure that basically we have a strong backbone for global halal network.
Thank you, Mrs. Mari. So you're leveraging technology not only for your own park, but also for the users and also connecting the halal ecosystem together and also linking potentially also to other halal industrial zones. In fact, what you mentioned earlier is that the halal industry today is a multi-trillion US dollar industry. Although we are celebrating the size of the halal industry, it's not such a thing there's a lack of demand. There's more a lack of supply today. So let us address the collective challenge facing our global halal industry, strengthening access to halal raw materials and fostering synergy between halal ecosystems. We have a highly distinguished economic zones represented here today, spanning West Africa, the GCC, and also Southeast Asia. Mr. Mamdou, how best to secure supply of materials and ingredients today?
Okay, good question. Again, we create a lot of, and the government provide a lot of incentives and programs to make sure this will be connectivity with the international and re-export on the market. I think it's part of how to make sure all the investors and the producer and the factories in Saudi Arabia connect with the others and create free zone and what you call it kind of similar to free zone on the worldwide. We create something unique for Saudi, for example, special zone. This will support and help our investors and supplier to create and low cost, I mean, to invest in Saudi without any kind of the tax, free of some and supported by some financial tools to make sure they can ready to start up the business, to make sure and to connect with all the supply chain as a worldwide.
Thank you. So there are special incentives also for ingredients production in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to develop that supply. Dr. Dicko, how best to secure supply of raw materials, ingredients in Africa?
Simply through regional cooperation and development. In Nigeria, for example, there are regional development authorities that support work across each state. So we have Northeast, Northwest, South, North Central, whereby we build on comparative advantage and bring a particular zone specializing on many products and programs with the aim of building Team Nigeria for exports, as an example, whereby each state has its own advantage, but then you do the production as a group, across the region, rather than everybody trying to do the same thing. That is what we've been doing in Nigeria, but there is strong bilateral ties with neighboring countries and other countries. For example, Botswana are very big in beef, but the land is, they don't have enough land. So they've come to Nigeria with the view of breeding their cattle, improving our capital with the focus on export. So such collective programs through the African Free Trade Initiative for us is the way. And then we take sector-specific goals whereby we improve our yields. That is very important while building on the infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dicko. So collaboration, what you're saying, is important with other countries in Africa to make it work. Mr. Ismadi, for Malaysia, how best to secure supply of raw materials and ingredients today? I think Asia is one of the biggest producers of a lot of halal products. So how do you secure supply of raw materials?
I think to answer that, Doctor, we have sufficient resources in Malaysia itself. I think most of the companies that reside in Bandar Estate, in the Halal Industrial Park, I think have well-established supply chains, well-established, they know how to source it from Malaysia or neighboring countries across Asia Pacific. We have, for example, Ajinomoto, that leveraging on the main ingredients is actually a tapioca. So we have that. So all that is actually through government agencies, through Ministry of Agriculture. We have a clear policy on how to secure our resources. So I think more importantly to us is about the certifications, the traceability, and with the government agency like JAKIM, HDC. So we are actually quite matured in sourcing the halal ingredients to support our tenant or our investor in Bandar Estate.
So, Mrs. Mani, what you're saying is that you're cultivating supply together with leading agency in Malaysia to make that happen. We only have, I think, 1 minute for each panelist left. There are 3 important industrial zones here, from West Africa, the GCC, and Southeast Asia. So my last question to each panelist, and I would like to start with Mr. Ismadi. What are your priority areas for collaboration? I mean, you started that, hinted that already earlier, that you want to collaborate with the esteemed other industrial zones. So what are 3 priority areas for collaboration? We'd like to hear it from you, followed by Dr. Dicko and Engineer Mamdou. Please, your last minute for each panelist.
So for me, I think to answer your question, Dr. Marco, I think my view is in order to ensure that we are going to advance halal industrial park, we need to collaborate. That's obviously, because to me, it's not about a question what we can build. I believe everybody can build. I think we have all the resources to build. But the more importantly is about certification, certified, connectivity, and also commercialize it together. So that collaboration is important to ensure that we are bringing up, as I mentioned, global halal. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Dicko.
I would like to add to the collaboration. We believe market access and contract farming, for example, contract supplies, and using Nigeria as a base for export is quite key, because through that we can raise finance and improve our technical expertise. Thank you.
Engineer Mamdou.
I think in this we need to sit more and more and more together to understand our needs and what's the gap between I mean, if we cover this halal sector, I mean the supply chain, for example. So for me, I think it's important to sit together again and to understand, to find out the gap and to create a lot of initiatives and chances to working together.
Thank you, Engineer Mamdou. Just to round up this session, it was a great privilege to moderate the session on Halal Industrial Zones. I think we all recognize the importance of creating Halal Industrial Zones to provide production clusters for a Muslim majority country to increase the role in the halal value chain. We need to boost production of halal foods, cosmetics and pharmaceutical. It was a great honor to have those leading Halal Industrial Zones here today. Engineer Mamdou Al-Drais, the Vice President Operation of Industrial Cities, Maudan from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Dr. Dikko Ladan, the CEO of Dara Halal, Nigeria, and Mr. Ismadi Isaac, the Group CEO from TH Properties from Banda NSEC Malaysia. Please give a thank you to all these esteemed panelists.
Thank you, and we'll kindly ask you to remain on stage for a group photo. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the conclusion of HELF AZHAB 2026, we have witnessed rich discussions, valuable insights, and promising opportunities for cooperation across the halal economy system. Today's discussions have highlighted the importance of stronger partnership, regional integration, sustainable industrial development, innovation, and investment collaboration in unlocking the full potential of the halal economy. To deliver the closing remarks, it's our pleasure to invite Mr. Orhan Mammadov, Chairman of the Management Board, KOBIA, and Chairman of the Azerbaijan Halal Business Forum. Please welcome.
Dear friends, dear colleagues, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we have arrived to the end of the HELF and AZHAB Forum, I would like to express again my sincere gratitude to all speakers, panelists, delegates, all our friends and participants for their valuable contributions and active engagement through today's discussions. Through the forum, we have witnessed exchange, firstly, on the future of the global halal industry and economy, opportunities emerging across various sectors, and the importance of stronger cooperation between us, among our governments, development institutions, and businesses and investors. A repeating theme through the forum has been the importance of trust, inclusiveness, and sustainability. These principles are not only fundamental to the halal economy, but of course are also essential for building competitive and future-ready economies in our interconnected world. We have also witnessed the growing importance of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises as drivers of innovation and economic diversification. Their participation in global halal value chains, of course, will be very important in creating new opportunities, generating employment, and fostering inclusive growth across our member countries. Beyond the discussions and exchange of expertise, one of the greatest achievements of today's forum has been the strengthening of partnership and the relationships established, ideas generated here in our forum in Baku possesses considerable untapped potential to evolve into meaningful cooperation, investments, and initiatives that will contribute to the advancement of the global halal ecosystem. On behalf of AZHAB team, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to the Islamic Development Bank Group for creating this opportunity and this platform within its annual meetings. We are equally grateful to our esteemed partners, the Halal Development Corporation of Malaysia and Halal Products Development Company of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for their contribution, their vision, leadership, and commitment to promoting halal economic development worldwide. As we conclude today's forum, I encourage all participants to maintain the moment we have created together. Let us continue this dialogue, which was very important, deepen our partnership, and transform today's discussion into concrete actions that will generate lasting value for our businesses, economies, and societies. Thank you once again for your participation, your expertise, and your commitment to advancing the global halal economy. And of course, we are looking forward to see you at the next level of AZHAB Forum, or maybe at the next HELF AZHAB Forum as well. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Mamadov. Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude, we would like to take a moment to recognize and celebrate the incredible efforts to our volunteers. Your dedication, commitment, and hard work have been instrumental in the success of the Halal event. From supporting our participants and guests to ensuring the smooth operation of the event, your contributions have truly made a difference. On behalf of the organizing committee, we extend our sincere appreciation and gratitude to each and every one of you. Thank you. Mr. Mamadov, can we kindly ask you to join them, take a group photo? Sure, with all of our speakers. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, thank you. On behalf of the organizers and partners of ISDP Health AZHAB 2026, thank you all for your participation, contributions, and commitment to advancing the halal economy across our member countries and beyond. We hope the discussions and partnerships initiated today will translate into practical cooperation, investment opportunities, and sustainable halal ecosystem development across our member countries. We wish you a productive reminder of the SDP Group annual meetings and a pleasant stay in Baku. Tahiyyatan lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.